What happened when a professional overthinker lets AI tools handle the behind the scene of their dating life? I reached a point of exhaustion from making the wrong choices that I once handed over my love life completely, fully, no take backs to an AI tool. It wasn't in a haha, I asked ChatGPT what to text him kind of way. I mean, every single decision. When to reply, what to say, whether to meet, how long to wait before sending that follow up. Every single thing, I gave it all to the agent and said, you drive. Every text, every timing, every reply, every should I even see him again. And I did exactly that. I really like the guy. I wanted it to work so badly. And I am so bad at taking decisions alone, so I handed it all over. And the wild part, the AI was actually good, genuinely better than me at this. The decision it made were calm, strategic, emotionally intelligent, all the things I'm not when I like someone. But the experiment failed. So why didn't it work out? That's exactly where we are going in this episode. Hello and welcome back to As It Is. Okay, so last time we went deep into the world of reality TV. We talked about everything from the completely unhinged, oversharing culture of American dating shows, where someone is telling a stranger about their childhood trauma on the second date of filming, to the almost uncomfortably polite Asians reality TV format, where conflicts is so carefully avoided, it barely registers as drama. I got some DMs asking me for going deeper and giving more examples of shows that I love, so I will try to do better on the elaboration this time. But today we are doing something a little different. I'm going to tell you about that guy, an experiment I did just to make my chances better in dating. The messy truth of what happened when I tried to surrender control of my dating life to AI. So let me take you back to the beginning. There was a guy I matched with. Let's call him Chandler. He was smart, funny in text, had the kind of calm confidence I'm usually drawn to, and he didn't give up on me after one day. He insisted. For the first time in a while, I thought, okay, I actually want this to work. I am not someone who catches feeling quickly or easily. My default setting is spectacle, slightly detached, and probably analyzing you from across the room while pretending to look at my phone. But this one, I was into it. I wanted it to work. And here's the thing I need to confess right away. I am terrible at decision making in general and in particular when it comes to men. I'm so bad at making decisions that I ask my pendulum or tarot cards or a digital 8 ball to make them for me. I've spent years either ignoring red flags because the chemistry felt electric or sabotaging perfectly okay situations because my anxiety convinced me something was wrong. To me, there is no middle gear. My decision making muscles are basically not existent. And that's exactly the problem because here's what happens to me when I like someone. I become a completely unreliable narrator of the situation. My brain, which is normally quite functional, turns it to a blender in the highest setting. Every text becomes a thesis. Every response time gets analyzed. Every word choice is dissected like we are doing an AP literature, and he is the novel. It's exhausting, and more importantly, it doesn't work because I really make bad decisions. I reply too fast, or I overthink and wait too long. I bring up something that isn't the right time for. I get weird about things that are probably fine and ignore things that are probably not fine. I am, to put it plainly, not a great decision maker when emotions are involved. On the other hand, I'm really good at giving others any kind of advice. But when it comes to me, listening to my own advice, I go completely blank. And I know this about myself. That's the thing. I have full awareness of the problem. I just have been unable to fix it in the past. So I thought, what if I just didn't make the decisions? We have now those tools, those AI agents that help us with so many things in our lives, give us so many answers. Why not use it for that purpose? So, after dating the one I wanted, but he didn't want me from episode 3, I told myself, enough. This time, I'm not going to ruin it with my usual chaos. I must not take my own decisions to make it work. Now, wait. I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, Gigi, that is insane. That's removing yourself from your own relationship. That's not authentic. And yes, that is correct. Absolutely. But here's my counter. I wasn't being authentic anyway. When I'm overthinking every message, that's not me. That's a stress version of me performing what the right move is while quietly panicking. So, at least if the AI is making the calls, someone calm is in the driver's seat. That was my logic and I stand by it. So, I set up a system. Every time I had to make a decision, when to reply, how to reply, whether to suggest a meeting app, even how to handle something that felt slightly off. I will screenshot the conversation, give the AI the context, and ask it to tell me what to do. And I will do it. No second guessing, no, but what if I just, no overrides. The AI said it, I did it. Now what's going in your head must be something like, but you just did copy paste without editing? Did it even sound like you? So, of course, I adjusted the text when they didn't sound like me. But basically, yes, everything. I fed it context, told it what I liked about him, what my goals were. I wanted something real, not just casual. And then I let go. Or at least I tried. At first, it felt incredibly liberating. The AI was calm, strategic, and emotionally regulated in a way I rarely am. It knew when to hold back and when to lean in. It suggested the kind of response that I, in my right mind, would know are the correct ones, but that I would never actually send because I would talk myself out of them. It gave me this weird sense of calm. Finally, I don't have to figure this out. Someone else is handling it. When Chandler took 6 hours to reply, I was already spiraling from the inside. He's losing interest. I said something stupid. Maybe I should double text. But this time I had backup. The AI said, relax, respond warmly, but briefly in 4 hours. Keep the vibe light. So I did, and the conversation kept flowing nicely. When he suggested the last minute drinks, my instinct was to say yes immediately because I was excited. The AI, on the other end, said, suggest a weekend instead so you don't seem too available. Protect your time. I followed it and he respected it. It actually worked. For a couple of months, it felt like I had some kind of superpowers. I wasn't overthinking every single word because someone else was doing the thinking for me. There was this one moment, I remember this specifically, where he said me something, and my immediate gut reaction was to send back this long, slightly intense reply. Just vomit at him, feelings everywhere. Very me, very too much for the situation. I asked the AI, it said, keep it light, listen to what he said, ask one question back, don't over explain. He even wrote me exactly what to write. 4 seconds later, I sent the lightest, most breezy response. And he replied within minutes. It worked. It was like magic. I could never had done that on my own. You know how some people have friends who are really good at this? That one friend who you call and say, okay, read this, what should I say? And they just get it. The AI was that friend, except it was available at midnight and didn't judge me. So, what went wrong? My instincts. Even though I was following the AI's advice, I could not silence my own instincts. They were loud, they were screaming. Here's the thing about instincts. And I think this is something a lot of us don't talk about honestly. Sometimes your gut picks up on something real, but it picks it up at the wrong time. And in the wrong emotional state. And so you can't tell if it's actually a signal or just anxiety wearing a trench coat pretending to be intuition. So I did. I pushed my discomfort down. I told myself, this is exactly why I hired the AI, because my instincts are broken. There were a lot of things that bother me, things I noticed, and the AI, when I told it about them, would consistently say some version of, it's too early to bring this up. Give it more time. This isn't the moment. And rationally, it was right. It was objectively too early. I knew it was too early, but I couldn't sit with it. I couldn't file it under noted revisit later and just move on. My brain kept returning to it, kept poking on it, kept saying, but what does that mean? And why did he say it like that? And is this going to be a thing? But here's what actually happened. The more I ignored my gut, the more disconnected I felt. I would send the perfect response the AI crafted, but my energy was off. I became a bit colder, a bit more performative. The spark that was there in the beginning started fading, not because of the AI advice, but because I was quietly resenting the fact that I couldn't be fully myself. You see, in my eyes, the person that I want to be with, he has to accept me the way I am and he has to adore it because that's how I see it. I don't want anyone to change me or I don't want to change anyone to be with them. I just want to be accepted the way that I am, and you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. And that's the part that I'm still struggling with because there's a difference between my gut is protecting me from something real, and my anxiety is creating problems because being happy feels unfamiliar and slightly threatening. And I genuinely could not tell which one it was in real time. What I can tell you is I started breaking the rules of my own experiment. Not all at once, but slowly. I started sneaking my instincts back in, adding a sentence the AI didn't suggest, bringing something up a little earlier than recommended, sent long messages even if the AI wasn't okay with it. And that's when things started to shift. So maybe following AI sabotaged me? Pretty much. I couldn't fully override who I am. My personality kept leaking through the overthinking, the need for reassurance, the hyper awareness of every micro shift in his tone. At one point, I even confessed to the AI, I'm sorry, I feel like something is off, but I can't tell if it's me or him, or if there's even a problem. And the AI, it gave me a very logical breakdown and suggested I observe for two more interactions before I bring in anything up. The more I waited, the discomfort grew. And eventually, the connection just faded. The texting slowed down and it died a quiet death of, we are both busy, let's catch up soon. And for once, I couldn't blame him. I couldn't say he was emotionally unavailable or guys are trash or bad timing because the experiment proved something painfully, even with perfect external guidance. My own unresolved pattern were still running the show now, and I want to be very clear about this. I do not think the experiment failed because AI was bad at it. I think it actually proved the opposite. The AI's decisions were solid. They were consistently better calibrated than mine. If you ran this experiment with a version of me who actually followed the protocol, I think the outcome would have been different. The experiment failed because of me, because of my personality, specifically my inability to be a passive participant in my own life is stronger than any system I try to put over it. I am someone who has opinions about everything, who notice everything, who cannot pretend not to have noticed something just because the timing is inconvenient, who, when something doesn't feel right, has to say so, even if so is 2 weeks too early and framed slightly too intensely. Let me go deeper into why I went to AI in the first place. I am someone who second guesses everything. Big life decisions, small daily one. I can make myself crazy analyzing options. When it comes to romance, that tendency goes into overdrive. Past heartbreaks made me distrust my own judgment so much that I thought outsourcing it entirely might be the solution. I told myself, if I don't follow my instinct this time, maybe I'll finally break the cycle. I genuinely believe that my instincts were the enemy. Too anxious, too quick to judge, too shaped by old wounds. But the experiment taught me something else. My instincts were not entirely wrong. They were picking up on real things. The problem was not that they existed, the problem was that I had never learned how to interpret them calmly and communicate with them healthily. I only had two modes: blind trust or total shutdown. I really believe it can be a useful tool for perspective, for practicing responses, for seeing your own patterns more clearly, but it cannot do the inner work for you. It cannot heal the fear of abandonment or the anxious attachment. Those are human self work. During this experiment, I started noticing how often I wanted the AI to give me certainty. Will this work? Is he even into me? Should I walk away before I get hurt? The AI would never give me a clear yes or no. It always gave balance. And that uncertainty drove me crazy, even when I wasn't the one managing the relationship, which revealed other truth. I was still looking for someone or something to take responsibility for my romantic happiness. But then I would have nights where I couldn't sleep because I was wondering if I was betraying myself by staying quiet about things that bothered me. So, what did I actually learn from this? A few things. One, I am a worse decision maker than an AI when I have feeling involved. I already knew that. Now, I have a controlled experiment to confirm it. Two, knowing your partners and being able to override them are two completely different skills. I have the first one. The second one, we are working on it. Three, and this is the one that surprised me. The moments where I was following the AI's lead and it was working, I felt more like myself, not less, because I wasn't spending all my energy managing anxiety. I was just present. The goal, I think, is not to outsource my decisions to a machine. It's to figure out how to access the calmer version of me without needing something or someone to get there. How to sit with something uncomfortable and not immediately act on it. My biggest lesson? You cannot outsource emotional maturity. If you are not ready to sit with discomfort, express needs, and hold boundaries, no AI on earth can save the relationship for you. The guy, by the way, it didn't work out. No drama, no disaster. Just two people who ran out of momentum. Partly because of real incompatibilities, and partly because one of them, me, it was me, could not stop being herself even when she was actively trying to be someone else. As you can suspect, he ran off. I got to be myself and asked too much validation, and it was too much for him. Next time, we are going somewhere super fun. I'm taking you back to my early 20s when my friend and I had a secret code to talk about guys in public. I will tell you exactly how the game worked. Maybe you'll adopt the code. That's it for today. I'm Gigi, and this was As It Is.